Hello and a warm welcome to you as you join us for this video tutorial for Paramics Discovery, as we're very close now to the launch of version 25 later this month. My name is Malcolm Calvert, I'm the Director of Paramics Microsimulation, and today I'm going to be introducing to you a major feature coming in version 25, which is all about improved vehicle awareness in Paramics Discovery. And in this tutorial we're going to be looking at vehicle awareness at junctions. I've got a model in front of me which I'm going to be using to demonstrate this new feature today, and it's in the Visualize tab within Paramics Discovery. Now it accompanies several other features which were introduced into Paramics Discovery 24, and you can find video tutorials of all of those on our playlist for version 24 on our YouTube channel. But the one I want to draw your attention to is this one, which is the ability to turn vehicle environment awareness on and off. And if I click on that button, you'll see a box appear in the bottom left called Vehicle Awareness. And this has a series of different symbols and labels with information about what the vehicles are doing as they travel through the network, and particularly the awareness that they have of other vehicles on the network. Now in this tutorial we're going to be focused on vehicle awareness at junctions, so we're really going to be looking at those first three: collision, considering gap acceptance, and following. So I've started the simulation. I'm going to get some traffic going in here, and I'm going to zoom in to one of the junctions in my model. Now this junction is effectively a priority junction, and I can see that if I turn on the movements from my styles panel, or you could use the hotkey capital M, and you can see the medium priorities there. Now, if I select the vehicle on approach to this junction and just go one time step forward, you can now see this new line is drawn from this vehicle to another vehicle on the network. And the symbol on that other vehicle there on this car is the symbol for following, and that means that the vehicle, which looks like a bus or a heavy vehicle which is pulling out at this junction, is going to be following that car as it moves through the network. And it's got awareness of that car in front of it, which may affect its target speed and its behavior. So that's the following symbol. If I get another vehicle approaching, I'll see if I can identify some of these other symbols for vehicle awareness. So let's select this green vehicle here. That one's also doing following. If I select the next one, we can see a couple of other symbols here now on the network. Now, what this is telling me is that it's wanting to follow the green vehicle. It's got a desire to do that, but there's also a collision point being drawn, and that's based on a potential collision with this black vehicle behind it. Now, as that black vehicle moves on, it's now considering this vehicle for gap acceptance. So it's calculating the gap that it can achieve behind this black vehicle. And if we step that on a further time step, we'll see it now is choosing to follow that vehicle. There's nothing coming behind, and so it's got space to move in and continue its journey. Okay, let's select another one and see what happens. So here we've got a vehicle on a different approach, and again we're given lots of information about what this vehicle is seeing on the network. So it wants to follow that white van. It's also seeing a potential collision with this green car, and that's being drawn, and then it's calculating the gap acceptance with the pink car. So you can see as the simulation moves on, it changes from a potential collision to calculating the gap acceptance, and then the vehicle following when the gap is finally selected. So all the time we're being told what these vehicles as they approach these junctions, this giveaway scenario, are able to see on the network, and how they're perceiving the other vehicles and therefore interacting with them. I'm going to move to another junction now and just slow the simulation down a little bit so we can see the traffic behaving a little bit more clearly. And again, at a roundabout, because it's a giveaway scenario, all of the approaches have a medium priority. As well as showing these three symbols again at this junction, I also want to introduce a change that we've made to how visibility works in Paramics Discovery 25. Now I can see the visibility on approach to this junction is set to 20 meters, and I'm just checking that with the scale feature in my styles panel. I also know that the length of this link, because I can see it in the properties, is just over 20 meters there. Now, the way that visibility has worked up until now is that the visibility only applies to the link on which the visibility is set. And so vehicles who are approaching this junction would have to be on that link just before the roundabout to be able to see what's happening on the roundabout. And we can see that in action here with the visibility set to 20 and the link length is 20. It's effectively doing that same thing. And it's only when that blue car gets onto that last link, it's able to see what's on the junction. Now I can also turn on my gap acceptance awareness from the visualize panel or toolbar, I should say, and that was also introduced in Paramics Discovery 24. We've got a video on that on our YouTube channel, which you can check out, and that's quite useful for checking this feature as well. So I've got that turned on, and what I'm really seeing here is that it's only when vehicles enter this last link that they start to look onto the network, whether that's for a collision, vehicle following, or gap acceptance calculation. Now, if I increase the visibility to 30 meters, in previous versions, this wouldn't have had any effect because the length of the link constrains the length of visibility. But now within Paramics Discovery 25, we do get that visibility extending back onto the next link, which is really useful. So now when I select vehicles approaching this junction, they'll be able to see what's happening on the junction before they get onto that last link, onto that 2-lane link. So I'm going to select a vehicle as it approaches and just check that that's working. And you can see now this vehicle, before it gets to the node 224, it's now able to look onto the roundabout. You can see the zone of gap acceptance it's looking in. It's able to tell us that there's a potential collision with the black vehicle. Now there's a potential collision with that blue vehicle, and only once that is through does this white vehicle have the opportunity to move into the roundabout and on with its journey. I'll select another vehicle on approach, and again, just to reiterate, we can now that vehicle can now see what's happening on the network because the visibility is extended to 30 meters. And just going back to my Edit Network tab and showing the scale, I can see where that 30 meters goes back to. So as well as these new vehicle awareness icons, we've also made an improvement to visibility for vehicles as they approach junctions with giveaway. So that could be a priority junction or a roundabout. Thank you so much for joining us for this video tutorial today as we've looked at vehicle awareness on approach to junctions. And we're going to be introducing many more aspects to vehicle awareness in future video tutorials, so stay tuned for those. And also look out for version 25, which is coming very, very soon. Thanks again for joining us today, and bye for now.